49 laps complete this time by. Leader Tony Stewart in heavy traffic trying to get past Kyle Petty. Kevin Harvick has closed right to Stewart's rear bumper, and Harvick has a look on the outside as Stewart's orange number 20 changes lanes to try to follow Jason Leffler's number 11, who is battling Kyle Petty for position just ahead of the leader.
Yeah, Kyle has actually been able to hold off Tony Stewart pretty well here for the last several laps.
Yeah, Kyle may be able to hold off Tony Stewart. I'm just not sure how much longer Tony Stewart's going to be able to hold off Kevin Harvick in that 29.
Well, I just don't know how much longer Tony's going to hold off, maybe getting in a hurry.
Traffic has always been tough here at Richmond, Darrell. Even when this was a half mile, it was a difficult place to pass, and especially work lapped cars.
Yeah, well, when you get that thing down on the inside, the guy on the outside can bog you down, and then if he gets under you, he runs you up the hill. So a lap car can hold you up for a long time here, as we're seeing right now.
There's third place Casey Kane in the 9, and Kurt Busch in 4th, right on his rear bumper in the Irwin 97.
Not real surprised to see Kurt Busch running good here in the 97 cars. It's the same car he won Phoenix with about 3 weeks ago, and this racetrack is very similar.
Well, he had to race one here last fall, Larry, and he had to stop late for fuel, didn't get it full of fuel.
He's now the third place car. Congratulations to Busch's team led by Jimmy Fennick. They won $100,000 Monday night in the Pit Crew National Championship powered by Tyson up in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Great job by the crew chief club in putting on that event. And
here goes Harvick.
Their fans had a big time with it as Kevin Harvick takes the lead for the first time tonight. He's the race's third different leader. And
that's all because Tony got down under the 4-car Mike Wallace there and got sideways off of turn 2, and Kevin had the momentum and was able to make the pass in 3 and 4.
But it looks like now Tony Stewart in the 20 car, he's moved up to that same groove Kevin Harvick in the 29 moved up to. He takes the lead back now. Kurt Busch in the 97 car wants second place.
Yeah, that whole thing, that pass was because the 20 car got in trouble down there.
Steve is in Kurt Busch's pit.
Kurt Busch already thinking ahead, Mike Joy. He just told crew chief Jimmy Fennick, when we pit, let's take air out of all tires. 1 pound out of the left rear, 3/4 pound out of the right front, 1 pound out of the right rear, and a round of bite out to push down the right rear spring. He said that'll do it. Great feedback from Kurt Busch, the defending series champ.
I'll tell you what though, Steve, he's pretty good right now because he's all over Kevin Harvick in the 29 for second place.
These 3 guys, well, actually 4, they are having themselves a whale of a race here, and Mike Wallace up in that 4 car is doing what he can do best, and that's hold them up.
I was going to say, make that a 5-car battle and put the 4 in it, because he's trying hard to stay on the lead lap, and this time Stewart gets him. Quaker State aerial coverage as we look as dusk begins to descend on Richmond International Raceway.
I give Tony a lot of credit because he used a lot of restraint there racing with Mike Wallace, because Mike was making it hard for him.
Let's have a look further back in the field where Ricky Rudd is now in 12th place in the Motorcraft Ford, just ahead of Jeff Gordon, the number 2 point man.
Jeff started back in the 20th position. He's moved up to 12th, 13th place. Had a 2-hour practice. He lost 30 minutes of that practice because of a penalty from Darlington for being late going through inspection.
I think they're going to have to adjust on his own ride a little bit though, because he hadn't just blown up through there. He's kind of had to work hard to get to where he is.
Here comes Dave Blaney now in the Bass Pro Shops 07. He's got underneath Rudd. Takes the preferred line, and he's going to move up to 13th, it looks like. Now behind Blaney, Elliott Sadler, Jamie McMurray, Mark Martin, Johnny Sauter trying to hold Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is 19th. Matt?
Dale Jr. started 27th, working on the 09 of Johnny Sauter. Now he has had a lot of communication back and forth with Pete Rondeau, his crew chief, dissecting his race car, knows it's not perfect, telling Pete what it is so Pete knows how to fix it.
Here, how we doing? Pins over on the right front, loose in, tighten the center, loose off. Just got too much rebound in the right front, the left front not working. We got you.
12 races since his last victory. That was he has been dominant. The last 8 night races, 7 times he has finished 8th or better, and that includes 2 victories as he dives on the inside again.
And what he's talking about is pinned on the right front. They've got so much pull down in the right front shock that it rolls the car down on that spring and makes him turn right almost to get into the corner. The car is so loose. So they're going to have to come off that rebound, Larry. They got adjustments there, and they could do that on a pit stop. Takes a little time, but they could fix it.
Matt Kenseth, the DeWalt 17, moves right on to Junior's rear bumper. He had slid back to about 25th, and now Kenseth is in 20th place, Dick.
Kenseth's problem, Mike, is a lot. Yeah, the 09 just hit the wall. Matt Kenseth, like a lot of other people we're listening to, has a very tight race car. This is the opportunity they will need to adjust it and loosen it up. We've got a caution flag.
Well, it's the first one of the night. Unlike last night, we get 63 laps under our belt before the first caution flag.
Now, that looks like a right front tire problem. One thing we want to watch here tonight is the rotors glowing on these cars. And why we want to watch that is not so much the glowing rotor, but what it's doing to the tire. And you can see there the tire goes down. The 09 Johnny Sauter into the fence. That builds so much heat in that right front tire, it's easy to blow it out.
You just see it went straight in the wall, and Darrell, that car was going backwards. You almost could say maybe also the car maybe had a hard push to it. The front end was sliding. That magnifies the problem. This caution will benefit a lot of people, but who it's really going to benefit is Jimmy Johnson, our points leader, who was about to go a lap down. Steve.
Small adjustment for Kevin Harvick. Little air out of the right front tire, Larry Mack. They have a new front tire changer. Dan Blizzard replacing the injured Jason Pulver. Matt.
And Tony Stewart says the 20 car's tight. Shaggy Larson already makes a track bar adjustment as they hit the lugs on the left side. Meanwhile, the 12 of Newman, track bar adjustment as well. His car was tight.
Casey Kane came in so hot he almost lost it. The car got right out sideways just as he was getting ready to enter the pit. He has the best pit here. Tony Stewart has already beaten him out. Kane is going to be the second car out, however. Picked up a couple of spots on that one, Mike.
Jeremy Mayfield coming out turned a car that was coming into its pit box, and I believe that car was the hapless Johnny Sauter.
Plus, we have a loose tire and wheel. When they find out who that belongs to, they're going to probably have a penalty of going to the tail end of the longest line. Biggest problem, we had all 33 cars on the lead lap on pit road at one time.
Jeremy got quite a bit of damage to the right front. I don't know if he'll have to come back to pit road. How about it, Matt?
DW also add the 16 of Biffle and the 49 of Schrader. They almost made contact. Close call as the 49 was trying to get into his box. The 16 was trying to leave his.
I'll bet you can guess who stayed out to lead a lap.
Is it Petty?
Yeah, 7 or 8 times this year. Kyle Petty.
Kyle Petty, yeah.
Every time he does it, though, that's 5 more points.
That's a lot of bonus points in the year.
Attaboy. We're under caution for the first time tonight.
FX, glad to have you here in Richmond, Virginia. Tony Stewart leading for the second time tonight. 71 laps through. We've had 5 lead changes, 4 different leaders. Casey Kane, the pole sitter. Harvick, Kyle Petty, and of course Tony Stewart, who twice this year has led the most laps in the race. Martinsville, the Daytona 500, but no victory so far to show for it. Casey Kane running second. Jeff Hammond, after that last round of pit stops, some observation.
Well, what I'm seeing right now is Tony Stewart, really, his crew and he both are just doing an outstanding job so far tonight. But a big break, once again, Larry McReynolds talked about it. The fact that Jimmy Johnson right now got a big break because he got an opportunity to come in and work on that race car and make it better. Otherwise, he's going to be lapped down. But we're also taking a look right now at Scott Wimmer. He's got a lot of tire smoke, it looks like, coming off maybe the right rear. Or he's gotten into somebody for sure, but it's really been rubbing. A lot of it's a left front. He may have a flat left front tire. Doesn't look good, guys. Got to do something about that.
75 laps in, and Tony Stewart on this restart squirted away from the field. He's got a 1-second lead now on Kasey Kahne.
Okay, this is just the way the race started. Tony got out there, got him a pretty comfortable lead. I think Harvick's got the kind of car, got to run 10, 12, 15 laps, and then it gets going. And so I think Tony's got a fast car on the short run. Looks like the 29 car's got a good car for the long run.
The tire we saw roll across pit road belonged to Mark Martin. However, there was no penalty assessed because that car was knocked across pit road. That tire was by another car, by Mike Bliss's car, either entering or exiting. Thus, it did not get away from the pit crew, and no penalty.
Right with Dale Earnhardt Jr. there. He's up to the 16th position after starting back in 27th. I'm sure there was a lot of major adjustments on that car that last pit stop.
And you know, when you start that 4-back, he and Jeff Gordon both see them right there together. It takes half the night to get track position. I don't care how good a pit crew you got to keep clicking them off till you can get near the front before you can see how good you are.
Mark Martin in the Viagra number 6 right there with him. Then Mike Bliss in the 0, Jeff Green in the 43.
Jeff Green, 43 car, had a great run in that Busch Series race last night. Good top 5 run all night long.
That was the 4 car.
Yeah,
the Biaggi brothers. Yeah, he did. He had a good run.
Now Elliott Sadler got up as high as 5th, fell to 23rd in the early going, and now he's rebounded. Remember, he got some dirt and stuff, loose rubber on his tires, fell back to 23rd. Now he's climbed back up to 10th.
Uh-oh, got a car around on the back straightaway. Looks like Jimmy Johnson in the inside wall. That all started because of Sterling Marlin and Michael Waltrip.
Got into it.
The Nextel Cup point leader, Jimmy Johnson, came in here 127 ahead of Jeff Gordon, and now he is spun into the fence.
What happened back there is Sterling Marlin got up high coming off of 2. Michael run up on him, and he had to check up. Somebody else checked up and ran into the back of Jimmy Johnson. See right here, the 07, he pushes Sterling up the hill. Sterling has to whoa up. Here comes Michael. He has to whoa up. The 77 was down underneath Jimmy Johnson and just got into him, spun him around. Let's see how hard he hits. Pretty darn hard.
A lot of damage to that right front.
Yep.
Looked like that 77 got that wiggle off the corner like we've seen so many times here this weekend. Just moved up a little bit right into the left rear of the 48 car.
See, you see that it's an opportunity. 3 guys are up the hill and they're slowing down. Oh my gosh, he's wrecked again.
Looks like he's lost the steering to the car. He can't turn it, so he can't drive it to pit road.
Look, he hit that inside wall again. Look at those black marks. Here he comes.
Just looked like something on the steering broke. You can see the right front turn dead in. You can see it right there. He was running at a pretty high rate of speed trying to stay on the lead lap.
Guys, looking at it from that angle, to me it looked like almost like the tie rod in itself broke. And Darrell, you know what happens when that left front just all of a sudden snaps? It just jerks that wheel right out of your hand and away it goes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. He was coming down through there and just kind of going back to the garage. Or pits didn't have that much damage until this.
2 cars already out of the race, Mike Garvey and Morgan Shepherd. So the worst that Johnson could finish would be 41st.
This pulls a lot of boys back within 400 points again.
Oh, it's a long way to Phoenix.
Second caution of the night for point leader Jimmy